PSVR2 has a massive reputation problem right now. If you scroll through any gaming forum, watch any tech channel, or read the major industry headlines, you'll see the exact same narrative repeated over and over again. People call it dead, they call it an abandoned gimmick, they call it a £500 entry fee for a hardware mistake. And honestly, if you're looking at the average library of games available on the headset right now, I completely understand why people think that. The reality is that most virtual reality titles on the platform do not do this hardware justice. They don't even come close. You put on the headset, you sync up your controllers, and instead of feeling like you've been transported into a living, breathing digital reality, you're immediately taken out of the experience by jagged edges, distracting screen door effects, and a pervasive soft blur that coats everything in the distance. Most games feel like a flat experience with a basic VR camera view bolted onto the player's head. You're watching the action play out through a lens. You aren't actually living inside of it. But then, Hello Games dropped a massive PS5 Pro optimization patch for No Man's Sky, and it completely changes the entire conversation about what this headset is capable of achieving. More importantly, it highlights a massive glaring issue with the rest of the industry, specifically when it comes to flagship titles like Gran Turismo 7. Let's talk about the harsh truths behind the current VR landscape. Games nowadays are fundamentally lacking when it comes to utilising the raw power of the PS5, PS5 Pro, and the cutting-edge technology tucked inside the PSVR2. We have this incredible piece of hardware sitting right in front of us. It's packed with features that PC VR headsets costing thousands of pounds don't even possess. But the vast majority of development studios treat virtual reality like an afterthought. You treat it like a luxury niche that doesn't justify their time, their engineering talent, or their budget. Think about that. The adaptive triggers. In most games, they feel like standard buttons with a slightly stiffer spring. They're barely touched. The advanced headset haptics. Instead of providing immersive environmental feedback, it's used as a basic rumble motor to tell you when you've bumped into a wall. It's uninspired, basic, and lazy. And don't even get me started on eye tracking. One of the most revolutionary features of the entire platform, a feature designed to completely bypass performance bottlenecks, is almost entirely ignored by mainstream developers. But the biggest sin of all, advanced AI-driven upscaling technologies are being left completely on the table. I want to clarify something very important here. This is not a hardware limitation. The silicon inside the PS5 Pro is an absolute beast. The displays inside the PSVR2 are state of the art. This is a development problem. There is a massive ocean-sized difference between a hardware limitation and a lack of developer effort. And if you want the ultimate proof of that concept, you only need to look at what happened to No Man's Sky. With the launch of the Voyeurs update, No Man's Sky became the first PlayStation VR2 game in history to officially weaponize PSSR, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. To truly understand why this is such a massive milestone, we need to look at what PSSR actually does under the hood. In traditional game development, when a system struggles to hit high frame rate at a native 4K resolution, developers rely on traditional spatial or temporal upscaling. They take a lower resolution image, say 1080p, and they essentially stretch the pixels out to fit a 4K screen, using basic math to fill in the blanks. In virtual reality, this process creates an absolute visual nightmare. It leads to extreme ghosting, severe aliasing, and a massive amount of visual shimmering on fine details like fences, power lines, or distant geometry. PSSR functions entirely differently, much like Nvidia's DLSS on high-end PCs. PSSR is an advanced AI library. It utilises a sophisticated machine learning neural network that has been trained on millions of frames of high-quality gameplay footage. Instead of blindly stretching pixels, the AI analyses the image on a microscopic pixel-by-pixel level. It looks at the motion vectors, it tracks the geometry, and it intelligently reconstructs the missing data with astonishing precision. On a standard PlayStation 5, No Man's Sky in VR looks good. It's highly playable, and it's an incredible achievement, but when you load it up on a PS5 Pro with PSSR active, it looks an entirely different generation of technology. The distant blur vanishes, the shimmering is completely wiped clean. Alien flora, terrain textures, and an intricate metallic plating on your starship looks so sharp, so clear, and so tangible that your brain genuinely stops treating the image like a flat screen. You're entirely immersed in a pristine, ultra high definition universe. Now, if a studio like Hello Games can pull off a technical miracle of this magnitude, it begs a massive question: how did they do it? Well, they didn't just flip a digital switch and hope for the best. Hello Games is an independent studio run by roughly 50 people. Let that number sink in for a moment. 50 developers. When they launched the game back in 2016, their core team was just 15 people. Today, even with their massive success, they remain a lean, laser-focused group. And yet, this small team didn't make excuses about their size or their resources. Instead, they went directly to the source. Hello Games worked hand in hand, collaborating in lockstep with Sony's senior internal hardware engineers for over a year. Their goal was to achieve what Sony themselves called a mind-boggling feature, taking their existing custom-built, eye-tracked foveated rendering system and pairing it directly with PSSR machine learning architecture. If you're not familiar with foveated rendering, here is how it works. Inside the PSVR2, infrared cameras track exactly where your pupils are looking in real time. The game takes that data and focuses it, rendering power, strictly on that specific zone. Everything in your peripheral vision drops in resolution to save processing power, while the exact pinpoint spot you are focusing on gets blasted with maximum graphical detail. By working directly with Sony to bridge this system with PSSR, Hello Games created a hyper-efficient pipeline. The PS5 Pro doesn't waste resources when upscaling the entire screen. It uses the AI neural network to generate breathtaking, ultra-high definition clarity exactly where your eyes are looking instantly. When you realise that a team of 50 people sat down with Sony, put in the engineering hours, and unlocked this level of fidelity for an infinite, procedurally generated universe, the rest of the AAA gaming industry officially runs out of any valid excuses. This brings us directly to the elephant in the room. The game that needs to study this blueprint more than any other title in the market: Gran Turismo 7. Don't get me wrong here, I love Gran Turismo 7. It is without a doubt one of the most stunning, exhilarating and jaw-dropping experiences you can have in a virtual reality headset. Sitting inside those meticulously modelled cockpits, looking out over the dashboard and tracking your apexes naturally, completely transforms the racing genre. It ruins flat screen racing games forever. But even as a masterpiece, Gran Turismo 7 in VR is not flawless, because it has to render two independent screens at high frame rates simultaneously to prevent motion sickness. The game has to make massive visual compromises. If you look at the cars directly ahead of you, they look great. But if you look down the massive straightaways of the tracks like Le Mans, Monza, or the Nürburgring, the image begins to break down. You notice the heavy shimmering on the catch fences. The horizon looks soft, distinctly low res. The digital dashboard displays on certain cars can become difficult to read clearly without leaning forward. The trees lining the track suffer from distracting pixel crawl. You're currently playing a compromised version of a brilliant game because Polyphony Digital is still relying on older, traditional rendering methods to hit their performance targets. They're leaving the true potential of the PS5 Pro entirely on the table. And with the highly anticipated Hypercar update right around the corner, this visual compromise is becoming impossible to ignore. Polyphony Digital is preparing to drop some of the most complex, high-performance vehicles ever engineered into the game. We're talking about hyper-advanced Le Mans prototypes, ultra-exclusive multi-million-dollar track weapons from Ferrari, BMW, Peugeot and Porsche. These cars are visual marvels inside and out. Imagine dropping into the carbon fibre cockpit of a modern hypercar with PSSR active. Imagine roaring down the straightway at 240 miles per hour instead of the asphalt ahead looking like a bloody shimmering conveyor belt. You can see every single seam in the tarmac with absolute clarity. You can read the brake markers from 100 yards away without a single pixel flickering. You can check your side mirrors and see a sharp, crisp silhouette of a chasing Porsche or Ferrari, perfectly defined against the distant scenery. Polyphony Digital needs to take a page directly out of Hello Games' playbook. They are a first-party Sony studio. They have direct, unimpeded access to the exact same hardware engineers who helped optimise No Man's Sky. They have the resources, they have the backing, and they have a passionate community that spent hard-earned money on a premium console and a premium headset. There is no reason why the Hypercar update shouldn't arrive alongside a dedicated PSSR patch for VR mode. It wouldn't just be a nice feature to have, it would elevate Gran Turismo 7 from a great VR game into a definitive, undisputed king of racing simulators across any platform, PC included. And at the end of the day, No Man's Sky has completely redrawn the boundaries of what console virtual reality can be. It proved that the studio's size doesn't dictate its technical limitations. 50 developers, backed by a collaborative partnership with Sony, just set a brand new benchmark for the entire industry. It proved that the hardware was never the issue. The headset isn't dead. It was just waiting for developers to respect its true capabilities. Now, the ball was firmly in Polyphony Digital's court. The flagship title needs to step up and stop playing it safe with old technology, giving us PSSR for the Hypercar update, and let's finally see what this headset can really do when it's running it at maximum power. What do you think? Would a PSSR update completely change how you play Gran Turismo 7 in VR? Are you noticing the blur on the long straightaways? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching. Catch you in the next one. And remember, be free, be happy.